call Pat Thomas the odd man out of the 60s. Born in 1964 and only 6 when calendars read January 1970, he was not physically present for much of the decade, but he has absorbed the essential spirit of the era. Indeed, he inhabited it to write his 2 books, Listen Whitey. The Sounds of Black Power, 1965 to 1975, and From Do It to Did It, the Jerry Rubin Story. He even talks as though he lived through the era, and learned firsthand much of its lingo and jingo. Perhaps because he didn't actually join protesters and try to levitate the Pentagon, riot in the streets of Chicago in 1968, or attend any of the legendary events of the era, such as Woodstock, he knows that the 60s is a state of mind as much as a decade that unfolded chronologically, and that it didn't screech to an apocalyptic ending in December 1969. But rather rolled over and kept going into the 1970s. Thomas also knows that the 60s belongs to women and African Americans as well as to white guys, like Tom Hayden, Jerry Rubin, Abby Hoffman and the Yippies, and that the era had its roots in the 50s, when Jack Kerouac, Allen Ginsberg and the Beats carved out a counterculture of their own. Thomas has a unique perspective that might be illuminating not only to 60s people but to members of his own generation.